Hello and welcome live to the 2017 World Team Championships in beautiful Blankenberge, Belgium. We're coming to you live thanks to Enter the Crucible, Page 5DE, and Muse on Minis. I'm your host, Josh, along with my co-hosts,
Richard Nilsson
and
Frank Richter.
And we're here to cover round one. So let's talk a little bit about what we're about to see. We've already gone through the pairings matchup, and so the players are getting the tables set up and ready to go. We have Team Wales Dragon versus New Zealand, Team New Zealand. Two Welsh teams this year, one New Zealand team. Some non-traditional lists from the Welsh and some more traditional lists, I think, from the Team New Zealand. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how the non-traditionalists hold up against what's perceived to be good in the meta at the moment. We can talk through the matchups if we want. We have on table one, Martin Jenkins versus
Dave Dawn.
Okay. And that is Anson Durst in the Jack theme for Protectorate, Creator's Might, and Gorton out of theme from the Mercenary player. On table two, we have Will Allen with Circle, and he will be dropping Baldur 2 into
Nikola Jaksic.
And he's playing Amon.
Yep.
So again, here we see Durst. I certainly haven't seen a lot of Durst played. I don't know about the two of
It's Amon.
No, from the first list, yeah.
Yeah.
Amon is definitely the more common list. So on table three, we've got Paul Leatherby with with Scorn. Paul Leatherby, with Scorn.
Against David Wilson with Cray.
So yeah, we get to see brand new Cray. I'm kind of excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's
Me
going to
too.
be Cray into Morgul 2. And I don't know about you guys, but Keith has played him a couple times at the shop when he's come to visit in Des Moines. And the new Cray is ridiculously cool. I'm super geeked about him. So
Yeah, can imagine.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to put him on the table yet, but I will after the WTC.
Yeah. So that'll be a cool matchup to check in on. And then on table four, we have Jamie Connolly. He's bringing Kador and
Mitch Cohen, he's bringing Kane 3.
So Kane 3 into Butcher 3. So a matchup of the threes. The unkillable caster versus the caster that kills everybody.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yep.
And then on table five, we have Dan Jones with Retribution. He is bringing Assyria in the Shadows of the Retribution, yeah.
Yeah, and we have Will... Oh, God. Weinweld?
Apologize today. We will probably butcher some players' names.
Yes.
We'll do our best.
And he's playing the Negro 1 in Ghost Fleet.
Yeah, pretty classic Denegger 1 matchup, and it looks like they managed to get one of their Crix drops in Assyria 1 Shadows of the Retribution into Denegra, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Yep.
How do you guys... Looks like they're still kind of setting up over there, deploying. Do you guys want to talk about any of these matchups in particular and what you think is going to happen in them? Anything stand out to you?
Well, I'm interested in seeing how Kane 3 is gonna do with versus Butcher. I'm more of a shoot first, ask questions later kind of player. So I probably take the first chance I get at killing Butcher.
Isn't that like Kane 3's game pretty much usually?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I either get assassination or just shoot everything else dead.
You don't even need to say Kane 3.
Yeah.
It's just Kane's game.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter which one.
Yeah.
Just shoot everything dead and hope not to die, because Kane 3 dies to Stiff Breeze.
So the Butcher 3 list is Jaws of the Wolf list, and it is kind of like the Harkovich or Karchev lists that are running around. You know, the Jack spam. Although he's got looks like 8 but he's got Ruin. Oh no, 7 with Ruin in there. So 1 more expensive. Usually you see 8 or 9. Butcher 3, I think, is kind of like number 3 or number 4 on that list, so that's a little different. But that's all right. We're gonna jump to table 5, which again is Denegra 1 versus Assyria. Too loud. So these guys are just getting underway here. Obviously, this first turn is going to be mostly movement. We have the Assyria, largely Mage Hunter Strike Force theme, or list, and classic Denegra Ghost Fleet. How do you guys feel about this matchup?
I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, all the Retribution warrior models, I think, have RFP, which is obviously good in this matchup, and also Blinding Light is going to be something that's good for Retribution.
Yeah.
I think they got one of their prime Ghost Fleet drops into Ghost Fleet.
Yeah.
Yep. It does seem that way.
It's always interesting to see tables set up where it's like 5 minis on the normal deployment line and the rest is AD.
Right. I've tried to build a few lists like that. It's kind of fun, right up until you run into it's Jaws of the Wolf that takes away your AD. Right? Yeah. And there's a Legion theme that does as well, right?
Yeah.
So, so I think pretty standard Denegra list here, right? Out of New Zealand. Pull it up real quick. 2 Death Rippers, 2 Stalkers, men Blackbanes. There's a Cannon Crew, which I don't often see. But then 3 men units with Max Riflemen of the Revenant Crew, the Wraith Engine. So I think pretty typical stuff. 1 Pistol Wraith, 1 Hellslinger Phantom. So nothing too surprising there. Let's see if there's any variations on the Assyria list.
Not by the looks of it. 2 Chimeras, a Hyperion, 2 Mechanics, Iris 1, 2 Mage Hunter Assassins, Narn, and 2 Max Strike Forces with the Mage Hunter commander.
Yeah, pretty typical. I have seen a couple versions of the list with Infiltrators. Yeah. Yep. So no Infiltrators with Iris 3. Chose to go with Iris 1 instead, but not too far off. This is a pretty typical matchup, and sort of a pair of lists that we expect to see throughout the tournament. Let's see if we've got anybody else starting. Looks like we've got a few other people starting. This year, all the table mats were designed by the Belgian organizers, and each table has its own theme. So here we see the city theme. We're going to flip over to table 1 real quick, and this is I think the forest. Oh, this is the swamp, the marshland theme. So clouds, toxic gas, that kind of thing for the terrain.
And on table 1 we have Ensign Durst versus Gordon.
Right. So this is interesting because Durst can kind of fight a little bit against Gorton's feat, but I feel like the Durst player is going to have to well, obviously he's going to feat defensively, but he's going to have to use that to get himself positioned where he wants to be, to give him kind of like a free pass against Gorton pulling Jackson and killing them. And even then, between Strength of Granite, I don't know if the Gorton list has maybe any additional damage buffs, Ragman or Iona and Holt. Let me pull up the Gorton list very quick.
There's Gorman for sure.
Yeah, Gorman, Ragman. He's got Wrong Eye and Snapjaw.
Yeah.
So it looks like 2 blasters, 3, 4 gunners. Oh, so this is no heavy list other than Snapjaw. So this might actually be a little bit of an uphill battle for Gordon. He doesn't really have the traditional Strength of Granite target, and that's going to make cracking into Durst a little more difficult. Yeah.
And in case you haven't already noticed, we're playing Breakdown as a scenario.
Yes. Thank you, Frank. Yeah.
And so the middle zone, the rectangular zone, can only be scored by Warjigs and Battle Engines, and the caster, of course. And the round zones can only be scored by units.
Yep.
1 point each. But the zones are close enough that the caster, for instance, can stand in 2 zones at once and score them both. Yeah, so we'll see how SR 2017 will play into all these matchups, especially when we come to table 4 at some point where Kane 3 is playing. I'm playing myself quite a lot, and I always find it hard to score a scenario with a list that shoots that far over the table. So will be interesting to see.
I suspect in this matchup that we're looking here, you can see the Durst player bricking up, pretty typical. I'm guessing that the Gordon player is going to look for a window to slide Durst himself away from the Jacks. I don't think that he has immunity to being moved.
Well, actually,
I'm not.
I think he does.
Maybe he does. Yeah, he's this.
I played against him a couple of times.
I played against him at the tail end of Mark II, and I haven't seen him in Mark III, honestly.
So this model is not moved when slammed. He has brace for impact.
Okay.
Can it be more by
Feet
push?
gives brace for impact, but to his Jacks.
Yeah, and other than that, that's it.
He can be pushed.
He can't be
right?
pushed himself,
This
but
model. Oh, he cannot be pushed. Okay.
but otherwise it's go time for Gorton.
Yeah. Yeah. So he.
Oh yeah, he's 30.
Yeah. I mean, Gorton still inflicts that -3 defense penalty on him. We'll have to see. The way the Gorton list is set up with all gunners, blasters, and then sort of like the Lely's Super Friends, Wrong Eye Slapjaw, Kazi Eliminators, Soaring Gun Mages, I believe that the purpose of this Gorton list to me appears to be slide things away from your caster, debuff your caster, shoot and kill your caster. So we'll have to see if that works on Durst, who is a pretty tanky individual.
Yeah, he has 13-18 with 19 boxes.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And
does he doesn't have Iron Wall or Iron Sentinel,
no,
right?
but he does have Bulwark,
Yes.
which gives him in
Plus
base
2
to base
defense,
plus 2 defense.
Yep. So let's go ahead and check out table 2, where we have Balder 2 and Amon.
Amon, yep.
The Balder 2, this is a colossal heavy Balder 2, obviously.
And also, please note the beautifully designed beach.
Yes, I do love this beach table.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, there's a marsh table, a beach table. There's the city fight. You'll see like a
Woodland.
woodland, and then there's also so the woodland is like a beer festival that's been overrun by savages or something to that effect. I believe.
And a
Desert, like
red
a desert. Yep, a red desert. Yep. But my favorite by far is this beach table. I quite like it, and then all the terrain has been themed for the tables as well. If we want to talk about the Amon list, is fairly typical. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Jacks, and Inquire, and the Covenant and Vassals.
Yeah. Not too much armor, probably like 1 Templar.
One Templar, 2 Crusaders, and then a bunch of Dervishes, Devout, a couple Repenters.
Covenant, as you do.
Yeah, I typically see some more spam, I guess, is the way to put it in Amon. So this has a little more of an eclectic battle group, but I think it'll play pretty typically. The Balder list is Megalith, Wold Guardian, Wold Wrath, and Wold Weird.
And also the Celestial Fulcrum.
I was gonna say he has 2 huge bases. I can see it. So yeah, that's Celestial Fulcrum.
Yeah.
Up top there. So the Celestial Fulcrum quite a bit better these days than it first started out.
As with most battle engines.
What's that?
As with
Oh,
most
as
battle
with most battle
yeah.
engines, yeah, absolutely.
So 3 different shot effects, 1 spray, 1 range 13 lightning, range 11 flame with continuous fire AoE and power 15. And it gets, it's very boostable now, I think.
Yes, I
with
think so. The Fury
yeah,
Bank.
the Fury
word,
Bank,
Yep. Kind of like how the stone works in Trolls.
Yeah, and with the power of the stones, you can also keep Boulder pretty safe. You don't have to manage your Fury as carefully as usual because you can actually leech Fury with the Fulcrum.
And it also is veteran leader for Blackclads, and he has 2 Blackclad Stone Shapers and a Blackclad Wayfarer, and Balder may be a Blackclad as well. I don't remember if Balder is. Maybe he's not.
He is. Wait, let's check. He is a Blackclad.
Yeah. Okay. So he effectively gets a little +1 to hit on attack. His attack rolls or whatever from being around that. So Celestial Falcon pretty good. We'll have to see what it does here in this matchup. I'm not. This is a lot of jacks for the small point model list to handle. Circle models are a little less pillow-fisted than they were in Mark II, but admittedly, it's a lot of lights for Amon, but they all hit hard enough to take all of his models off the table, and I'm not sure that the circle models can retaliate fast enough. So this feels like an advantage to Amon in this matchup to me.
I would think so too.
As long as the Menoth player doesn't get Amon killed.
Yes.
Which is always the trick. Okay. Looks like we are still waiting for Table 4's game to get underway.
No, it's camera died.
Okay, apparently we lost camera, and that's why it looks like Table 4's game has not gotten underway yet. We're going to pull up Table 3 here. Just a brief little technical difficulty with a couple of the table cameras, but we should be fine in a moment. So here is the Table 3 with Cray and Morgul 2. Quite excited about this game. Cray is just an exciting caster, particularly with all the changes. Are you aware of the changes to Cray, Ricard?
A lot.
Yes, a lot.
we'll bring it up.
Yeah. Cray's whole spell list basically has changed. Pathfinder, Reposition 5, and the Cavalry rules all got built into his Field Marshal that's not a Field Marshal.
I think the biggest changes was to his spell list. I guess Admonition is new, probably.
Admonition's new. Countermeasures is new. Yeah. Horsepower, which is the they get plus jacks in his battle group get +3 movement, inches movement when they make a charge or a slam. That's new. Nice that it only costs 2.
Yeah.
He has jump start, and then lock the target is new as well. Also, Cray became steady, and I think maybe his overall stat line might have been buffed slightly, if I remember right. But yeah, he's just a much more dynamic caster. PP really did an excellent job redesigning him. He's exciting, and I think he's the most beautiful model in their entire miniature line.
I would agree.
So it's great that we're going to get to see some Cray on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think we can mention the feat as well, because I think the old feat was basically got put into his spell list and
yep, that's right. So his feat is different. Yeah.
So during his feat, like when in crit control range, the ranged and melee weapons of friendly faction models can beacon and flare, which I think is probably relevant to this matchup because I guess he has, like, of course it gives him the ability to assassinate Morgul, who is otherwise protected by stealth.
Right. Check and see what our jack loadout here is on Cray. We have...
Looks like at least 2 defenders to me.
We've got 2 chargers, a defender, 2 hammersmiths, 2 Minutemen, That's it. So the Hammersmiths are interesting. I have not seen a Hammersmith on the table in Mark III. Have you? Okay. They're not. Maybe they're just not as popular, or maybe I just haven't played a lot into lists that would want to take a Hammersmith.
I think I played him on Haley too, early on before the Theme Forces.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because he's a nice 12-point heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and I think at that point I didn't have an ironclad assembled or something.
Okay. I definitely see more ironclads, and of course, for some reason my mind wants to say Stormblades, but the Stormclads. Thank you, clad. Yeah, yeah, that's the word. Yes.
6 points more. So
It is. Yes. Yes.
ironclads are cheap options.
Yes. And the Cray list that I have seen run was a mixture of ironclads and stormclads for the most part, with a Firefly and maybe a Charger in the mix. Defender is nice for a long range beacon shot. So, okay. So, do we want to switch over to table 4 just to check in there? And again, these are all pretty early in the game, people just positioning, so not a lot going on quite yet. Here on table 4, we have this is the Kane 3 Butcher 3 matchup.
And obviously the Kane player went first.
Yes. Yeah.
And is running pretty far up the table.
Yeah. Yeah, they're both jammed in pretty good.
And this table is also pretty handy to go over the terrain for a moment, because the Dutch, or no, not the Dutch, I'm very sorry. Belgian organizers, I'm paying for that. The Belgian organizers have provided every table with a set of with a sheet which explains the terrain. And on this table we have, can see in the upper round zone, you can see the burning earth terrain feature, and in the lower round zone you can see a dense fog terrain feature.
Yes.
I'll be
Burning
honest,
Earth.
I've never played with these new terrain features ever in Mark III, and it's been over a year. But apparently the WTC went with it, and
So we played with these at the Wisconsin Team Championship, 3-man team tournament about a month or so ago. I quite liked them. I did not play with Dense Fog, but I did play with Burning Earth and with the whatever the acid pool or acid cloud is called. I can't remember the specific name of that.
Acid
terrain.
Bath.
Acid Bath. They're relevant. They add some variety. Yeah, no, I tend to like them. They do have a tendency to, well, not the fog, obviously, but the Burning Earth and the Acid Bath do have a tendency to become no-fly zones for infantry. But
Yeah.
I think that's okay in limited size.
Yeah, I mean, the dense fog basically is just a cloud effect.
Right.
And the Burning Earth, it says a model without flight entering or ending its activation within that terrain feature suffers the fire continuous effect.
Right.
So anything below armor, say 18, 19
yeah.
on infantry is going to have a problem in
yes.
there.
Yep.
And what else does it say? And a model with flight that is knocked down within that area also suffers the fire
The
effect.
fire effect. Yep. And I believe that the Acid Bath, which is on the first table, the swamp, or maybe the third table, the swamp table. I think it's the first table. It's
the first.
It basically is Burning Earth, but it's corrosion effect
Yeah.
instead of.
Which is even worse for infantry, no
Yes.
matter the armor, because
Yes.
just 1 point, oh,
Yep. So
I'm sorry, you're gone.
So yeah, so some interesting new terrain here, in addition
Yeah.
to getting to see some interesting new lists and.
And you're probably not gonna see it on the screen once we switch to the
The swamp table.
to the swamp table. But in the acid bath, there are a few skeletons buried.
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
acid
yeah. The
bath.
design on all of these.
Yes,
I don't know how well it translates through the stream, but standing over them, they're very, very nicely designed.
Yeah.
A real pleasure to play on, I think.
And
so.
another note, those three big terrain pieces around the Burning Earth, which look like buildings, are actually hills.
Hills, yes.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to design some slightly more varied hills, I think. So
Yeah.
those are hills up there at the top to help you at home kind of get an idea of what pieces may be doing, whether or not they have cover, why they may be going where they're going. So it looks like the Kadar player is still in the midst of his first turn. Looks like that's Butcher, I believe,
Yep.
right there. Still hanging out quite a ways back. Frank, you've played quite a bit of Kane 3.
Yeah.
What is the Butcher 3 player? How does he need to play into this to protect himself?
He he needs to stay quite a bit back so that not the whole battle group of the Kane 3 player gets to him. And basically he has to weather the feat of the Kane 3 player, which I think he might be able to do because he has 2 Devastators in the list. So those Clamjacks, as long as they are not opening up, they're armor 23 and they're really hard not to crack.
There's kind of a ceiling to how much power Kane's list tends to put
it's
out,
basically range synergy, his feat.
Yeah.
So +3/+3, and you usually put it up with the Kane unit itself, and then let the Chargers and whatever else you have in the list go to town.
So he's got 2 Hunters, 4 Chargers, 2 Minutemen.
And Ace.
And Ace,
And
yeah.
Ace, yeah.
So you have how many? 3 Shadowfire attacks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although the Shadowfire attack of Ryan of the unit is only 10 inches, and
Yeah.
she walks 6 and flickers 2, so it's 18 inches, which is not not a little distance. But I have found that it's sometimes hard to apply her because you also want to keep her safe. Because
Right.
Kane 3 has absolutely no defensive tech whatsoever.
Yeah.
So we're going to flip over to table 1. I believe this is our Durst and Gorton matchup.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have Durst cramming himself right on into that middle zone. It looks like Snapjaw is towed into the edge of it. So I don't know if we're on the top or bottom of 2. We're not sure who went first here. I suspect it's bottom of 2.
I'd actually say top of 2. That the Gorton player went first.
Well, the reason that I think is the Gorton player had models roughly in this area on the last turn when we
Okay.
looked, and the Amon player had all of his models like kind of
There.
through
Okay.
here, and now the Amon's player is here. So I feel like the Gorton player may have kind of idled during the top of 2 if it was his, but I'm not. You may be right. It does kind of look like it's Durst's top of 2. So we'll maybe be able to figure out who went first here. But obviously, there's not going to be any scoring. But the Durst player, the Welsh player, is making a claim on that central zone.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
they don't have a dice or something counting the turns, which is necessary
It
in
is.
2017.
That's correct.
Because we have a hard limit of 7 turns.
Right. At least they don't have one counting it that we can see on the camera. It might be off to the side, beyond the camera's
I
range.
think that little sliver just up top, the round zone, the players were given turn and CP markers.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. And if you've been away from the game for a little bit and you're wondering how 2017 scenarios work, the idea is that you need to score 5 more points than your
Yeah.
opponent.
Yeah.
And so at the end of any round, if you are 5 or more points above your opponent, you've won the game on scenario. So unlike in previous years where the goal was just to get to a fixed number, now the goal is to get to your opponent's number of points plus 5, which in a scenario like this where you can score a maximum of 3 points in a turn is tends to make the games last quite a while.
And I mean, these are especially the Amon list is kind of a jack break, and that will last quite a while. And after turn 7, it's over. there's a hard limit, and whoever's ahead on CP at that point wins the game. And of course, there's always assassination, which is basically my first line of defense. Yeah.
So it looks like he's used some eliminators. It looks like he's used some eliminators to go at Gorton player to clear out that the bottom circle zone. It doesn't appear that the Welsh player has anything else there. So Gorton is probably going to score that zone. There is a single light towed into the back of the top circle zone. Whether or not he can deal with that, I don't know. It looks like he's got eliminators over there as well, but that's probably not going to be quite enough to bring it down.
And
The 2 pow 15 charges do hit hard, but it also looks like Amon player has feeded, so that Jack's going to be +4 armor. So he probably will not clear that zone, but Gorton should go up 1 point on this turn for the bottom zone.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm trying to figure out where Durst is actually positioned, because
It is hard to see,
As
yeah.
far as I can see, he's the only sturdy model in the list, which means he can't be pushed by Gorton's feet.
Right.
So I'm thinking about, is there like a scenario
He
play?
can, sturdy doesn't prevent him from being pushed by Gorton's feet. He actually just can't be pushed, right?
Okay.
He has a separate
Yeah.
rule that makes
Yeah.
it so he can't be pushed.
But the Amon player, no, the Durst player has put a trooper behind the Jack in the top zone.
He has.
So Gorton has to be a bit more forward.
Right.
Just a tad more forward to cover that trooper as well and push him out as well.
Right. Well, he
Which
can.
exposes him basically maybe to...
It looks like Gorton could probably slide that Jack sideways out of the zone from our perspective here. So that is an option if he chose to go
how
sideways.
does the push work? How does
So
the
Gorton gets to pick a table edge, and then he picks a distance of 0 to 8 inches, and every model in that it moves in the order the Gorton player decides that many inches towards that table edge.
how does that work in rough terrain?
It'll go half speed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think that terrain piece where the feet marker is lying, that might be rough terrain. So, but still, the Jack is only towing
Just
the
towed
zone.
in.
Yeah.
If he pushed him to the side, he needs to push not even an inch to get him out of the
Josh,
zone.
you always pick 8 inches, right?
I always pick 8 inches.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah.
have that measurement.
I have just on hand. I can eyeball 8 like nobody's business.
Okay, it's that time of the day already. Expect a lot of that.
So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if the Gorton player manages to get up. I don't know if he's going to use his feet. If he manages to get up 2 points without using his feet, that's huge for him. Particularly as the Amon player wants his army to be bricked the way it is. But the Amon player also should be able to break out a little bit towards the zones to help control. And like we discussed earlier, this is a other than Snapjaw heavy list, Gorton list. So I don't think Gorton has the staying power to stay in a long attrition fight with this Amon player. Okay. All right, so Gorton moved into the zone, and he is feeded. So here comes 8 inches of push straight back. This is another problem for the Amon player. He's now going to be -3 speed on all of these models. He's going to have to try to hump it back into the zone. And if Gorton scores... if he scores 2 to 3 points, yeah, he's going to score 2 to 3 points. It looks like he just managed to get that Jack out of the zone up there on top.
Well, Durst can't be pushed, so that won't be a problem. But
Durst,
other casters might have a problem with being pushed basically out of the kill box and then not have enough speed to get back into it.
That can happen.
It's situational, and
but, yeah.
it's harder to do than in SR 2016. But like some speed forecaster.
Yeah. So all the choir is going to get slid back, like you said, Ricard, where Durst is, and it's hard to make it out on the screen right now.
I would guess
that's
he's
it.
close to his feet, token and focus. So
That would be my guess as well.
So I would guess that the big chunk stops moving zone-ish, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a really bad place for Gordon to be. It seems so.
Well, sometimes you have to make the bold play.
Yeah. The question is, what is he camping? And I actually.
I would guess it's like the 4 green focus there, so I
Yeah.
would guess 4.
Yeah.
Like 2 up.
Yeah, it
maybe.
looks like Gordon's camping 4. I agree. I'm thinking that this model.
So does Gordon's feet prevent them from charging, or is it just the minus speed?
It does prevent from charging,
Oh.
specifically in the rules. So it's the whole. Well, now I'm circling way too much. This mouse is a little tricky to use. So I think that's Gordon. Oh, he went all the
Yeah.
way into the zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he's like, yeah. All right, that is, yeah. It's, there you go. That's where Gordon is. If you guys are having the trouble, no one else was having the trouble I was having seeing where Gordon was, but there he is. So, yeah. Okay. So yeah, he is way up in it, which I guess makes sense. He's only 10-inch control, so catching that jack in the other top zone, he was going to have to be quite
Yeah.
far forward.
Especially since he's moving guys to the back of the
Right.
board, so he has to catch that trooper as well to get the jack out of the zone.
Right. So he is. The feat is -3 rat, -3 defense. Cannot run or charge. Cannot charge. Cannot receive orders. Pretty sure.
So we're getting a judge called over there to clear up the moment, I think.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he. It depends on how much. We still haven't seen him on or things bump against him on. We see the book there as well. The book can be moved. Is that right? It's just steady, right? The book. It's not immobile. Like it doesn't.
I don't think so. And
Pretty sure.
it looks like the Durst player has
Yeah.
moved Durst himself, which he shouldn't do.
Okay, are we wrong about Durst?
No.
Right? We just checked the rules.
No, he has sturdy, but maybe the protectorate player didn't. I think he moved Durst.
And the book was definitely moved.
So that's a jack he's moving now.
Sturdy, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it says the problem is that War Room's sturdy is wrong, because that's not what it says. Sturdy, the model cannot be pushed, but that's not what sturdy does. It cannot be knocked down, right? Steady. Oh, I'm
yeah.
thinking steady. Yeah.
Sturdy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he
yeah.
shouldn't
Oh
have-
yeah.
He
So-
shouldn't have moved Durst.
So Durst should not have been moved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Too early in the morning.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that the Durst player missed it.
I mean, it's sort of a key ability to have. in
Right,
this
I
matchup.
would have thought that was the reason that he dropped Durst into this matchup. So we'll see here. The judges may be modifying what happened. It looks like the feat was unable to clear the middle zone anyway. But it's
Yeah. So the judge says that they have to move too many models, so it can't be reversed. So they're gonna play from the state.
Oh, that's just.
so that's a big
That's
deal.
unfortunate.
That's a big deal. Durst would be debuffed whether he's pushed or not.
Yeah.
But not having that linchpin model to push his other jacks into and keep the zone forward. I'm
So-
not,
Why didn't he move that last?
he may have decided that he wants that where it's at so that he can make attacks into the. We're talking about the warjack up
Yeah.
front.
Yeah.
So he very well may have decided that he wanted to make
push-
attacks into this warjack. So he may have pushed it first so that it stopped into the models behind it, and then pushed other models to leave it
Yeah.
where it was at.
And he's moving models into the jack.
Into that
And
jack, yeah.
The thing is, if Durst has bulwark up, that jack has +2 defense base to base with another jack. So now he's basically taken away the defense bonus, and now can just go in and kill it.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which is probably a good thing starting on attrition, not just pushing stuff away.
So that's a Reckoner that we're seeing right in the zone left. So his armor now is 23 on the feet.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Can you put Strength of Granite on Snapjaw? No.
He cannot. It's a battle group spell only. He does have both Gorman and Ragman. So Snapjaw goes to POW 22.
Yeah. Yeah. So that should probably do it.
Particularly if he can chip in a little bit with, I don't know if Gorton may have taken his double-barreled hand cannon shot at a POW 6 boostable POW 16 into the jack or anything.
I guess he would be engaged where he's standing.
Yeah, you're right. So he may have just. I wonder if Strength of Granite is on Gorton, and I wonder if he made any attacks into him. I can't. It looks like on the cards, it's hard to see. There's a light glare across.
But
the
he's
top,
not going to score the center zone
He
anyway.
will not score the center zone at any rate. He will score both of the circular zones, but he's not going to be able to clear the front line of the jacks. Now those jacks can only walk
2 inches,
uh,
3 inches,
between 1 and 2 inches. They're -3 speed.
-3. Oh.
-3 speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the protected player is not in danger of losing the center zone, but he is in danger of not scoring the top and bottom zones again on the next turn. So we'll have to see how that falls out. Do we want to check in on another table? All right, we're going to check in over on table 5.
Which is
And
Ghost
table
Fleet, I guess.
5 is
Ghost Fleet against
Ghost
Ghost
Fleet
Fleet
Assyria.
and Assyria, yes. So
On
sort
the
of
city
a,
table.
one of
let's
the...
see. Okay. Trying to make out what's going on where.
Yeah.
The top zone seems to belong to Crix, I think. We
It
have
does.
Black Banes, we have some Pirates. I'm
I
not
don't-
sure if that's like a ret model towing
there-
the building, or it's probably a pistol wraith, I would guess.
Yeah. Is there like an Iona? No, that's more Black Banes at the bottom by the Wraith engine
Yeah.
in that zone. Yeah, that zone looks to be completely within the control of...
Yeah. And we have some Crix Jack up as well.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
seems like this here place has been pushed back pretty far, I think, because there's not a lot of zone presence. There's like a heap of dead models in the lower right corner, so it seems that Ghost Fleet has done some work.
Yes. Yeah, this does not look good for the Assyria player. And this is sort of an issue. I mean, the Assyria list is largely a gun line. And in Steamroller 2017, gun lines just seem to have a very difficult time in scenario. Obviously, Ghost Fleet is one of the scenario monsters, given that you can run your models wherever you like and not really worry about attrition because you just have a built-in massive attrition advantage. Yeah, it does not look like the Assyria player has too much left. Maybe like about half a unit to a little bit more, like 3/4 of a unit of strike force on the bottom.
Yeah, we
And
see Aeris also
Yep.
around there.
Yep.
And I would guess the Dragoon guy, Scarith, I think.
Yes, is that in the list? Let's see. The Assyria list does not have Scarith. So that might be a Chimera. Yeah, I think actually. So I think it's 2 jacks.
Oh, 2 jacks, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I think he's got 1 jack up here and
Yeah.
1 jack. Chimera's there and there. So he still has his jacks, but it looks like he's lost basically a unit and some change on strike force, and he starts out obviously down on models, and Ghost Fleet certainly isn't going to lose as many as he does. So I don't know how he lost. The
Like I
strike
would,
force.
like in this matchup, I would expect the Syria to spam Blinding Light, probably to like shut down two unit of pirates and try to press for the RFP attacks.
Sure.
Because I mean, you have a lot of medical weapons against the Black
The
Banes.
Black Banes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that the Wraith ending could probably be an issue because you can't hand out medical attacks, right?
No, Assyria does not hand out magic attacks.
I would
I
think not from the list.
yeah.
So
Okay. All right. Well, do we want to check in on another table at this point? This game looks like I would say it looks like it's strongly in favor of the Denny player at the moment. And we'll have to see if Assyria player is able to fight back at all. But we're going to flip over to table 2, the beach table. On table 2, we have Butcher 2 and Amon. Okay. So here we are into the Balder and Amon matchup. And it's hard to tell that much has changed. Looks like the Amon player has bricked up a little bit. A couple different small little bulwarks of jacks. And we've got the battle engine, circle battle engine going in, Celestial Fulcrum going in to make some attacks.
So it seems that the Amon list has been pushed back from the zone because I think they were up towing it just recently.
Okay.
So I'm not really sure what's been going on over there.
Yeah, it looks like the circle player is in control of the top zone, right? Unless there's something just off camera that we can't see.
Yeah, but I don't think he's anything there to score with because I don't think there's a unit.
There's no unit, yeah.
Is there actually a unit in the list to score
That
the
is
circular
a
zone?
really good question.
I guess the shifting stones?
Shifting stones are his only units.
And they're placed way back from the zone. Maybe we will see them go in, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Or maybe they TP the Fulcrum, I'm not sure.
So this is actually a really good point about list building in Steamroller 2017. It's one of the things that I happen to quite like about Steamroller 2017 is that it encourages some list building variation or diversity, just because this Balder list has a unit of shifting stones in which to score 2 of the 3 zones in the list, aside from Balder, of course. But getting your caster into the zones is always
Dicey proposition.
Yeah, exactly. So this Balder list is simply at a disadvantage for scenario play in this matchup.
Yeah.
They can try to score the central zone, but the central zone is always the hardest one to score. It's always the one where the fight happens.
I mean, you can go in with Balder himself to score one of the circle zones.
You can, but that's getting your caster that far up the table is always
especially
a
against
concern.
Amon with sidesteps and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. All right, so we have the cameras back up on 4 and 3, so we're going to flip over to them. So here is table 4. Table 4, again, is the Butcher 3, Kane 3 matchup.
Yes.
All right, so is this Butcher here in the trench?
Yeah, looks like it.
Right. So he's kept him fairly far back. You know, we were watching his first turn earlier.
And kept the wall, kept the forest between him and Kane, I believe, which Kane has mage sight, so of course he can get rid of the forest, but also trying to get at Butcher means he has to move pretty far forward.
Right. The more hoops you can make Kane jump through, the better, right?
Yeah. Because he's strapped for focus almost constantly, especially when he wants to feed.
So, can we point out where Kane is in his battle group? Because I think it's pretty hard to see on the stream, probably.
Where Kane is?
Yeah, I would guess.
Look for the squire and then move 5 inches forward.
Yeah.
Good point. All right.
So that's probably the squire back behind the forest.
Like, would you think that's Kane, maybe?
No, that's too far
Or maybe
back, yeah.
that's
probably
Kane, the second one, just the dot there?
Yeah, I believe so. And
Or these...
these are his buddies. The top one is the guy with the long rifle, and the other one should be Watts.
So Ryan had the Shadow Fires, so she's the top one, is that correct?
No, I think the top one is the guy with the long rifle.
Yeah,
Watts, and Ryan is the bottom one.
Which would make sense, because I guess you want to keep her close-ish to the Butcher, so you can start shadow firing. And I would suspect that the yellow hunter at the bottom of the forest would be Ace.
This one here?
I would guess so.
Yeah, because the jack in the zone and the jack in the bottom are chargers, and the jack at the very bottom is a normal hunter. And the jack in the top zone is a hunter as well. No, he's a charger.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're gonna check on table 3, the other one where we were having some
Leave the
technical
standoff for
difficulties.
this.
And this one is this is the Cray and the Morgul 2. So we've got Cray in a pretty straightforward line here. Looks like he's making some attacks into that top zone.
And in case our viewers are wondering why why the players have dumped all their focus into the round zones, those are not focus tokens; those are pumpkins printed on the zones.
We have a local Crix player who has a pumpkin-themed army, and his tokens, his focus tokens, literally are pumpkins. So
Okay, so he would have quite a
Yeah.
problem on these zones. This is probably the one time a player would go, nope, no, not gonna play on that table.
yeah. So this is sort of an interesting dynamic here. It looks like we've got a few models from each player in that top zone, and I'm having a hard time telling what this is. Can you guys
Is
make
that
it
in the
out?
spoiler, maybe? Probably?
No, that's looks like a cannoneer.
Ah, yeah, I think you're
That's
right.
a that's
Yeah,
a,
of course,
that's
yes,
definitely
yeah.
a gladiator. Definitely a titan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cannoneer. Yeah.
And there's 2 cannoneers and a titan, I think, in this list.
gladiator.
Yes. That is it for beasts. This is the Winds of Death scoring theme, so
Yeah,
not
I think.
sure where his wall is.
I guess it's this one.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
it's
Yep.
up there.
Like in the top circle zone.
Yeah.
I
so
played
With
against-
the extoller hiding behind
yeah,
it.
right here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I played against this player and this exact list a couple of months ago, and with Kane 3, obviously.
Uh-huh.
And this thing can put out quite a bit of power over range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he managed to down Ace and the Charger before I got to him. And he has ridiculous threat ranges. I think the Reavers in that list go up to 22 inches, all things considered.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, the AoEs of the Cannoneers can be drifting somewhere you're not liking. And
And they
yeah.
threat like 20s because Cannoneers got quite a buff in Mark 3 General, I think. They got the 4-strike Animus
Yeah.
instead of whatever they had before.
And they have he has a Gladiator in the list, so
Yeah.
Rush is 2 inches more.
Mhm.
That's actually putting quite a bit of distance.
Yeah.
22 inches on the shot, I believe.
Yeah, and then they can
Yeah.
Swift Hunter
Yeah.
back a little bit, or
Yeah.
like, or forward, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so let's
Yeah.
check in on the Durst Gorton game on table 1. And I believe that Durst is now responding to Gorton's feet turn.
Yeah. And we can
I-
see that the Reckoner is still standing where we left it.
Yes. Yep.
oh, that's
Yeah.
too bad.
Yeah, so he did not take out the jack. Like I said, I think he's going to.
It's hard to
struggle.
see how much damage it's taken. I'm not sure if it's functioned at all. It could have lost like its weapons, so
Yeah, there's a glare on the card that looks like it's probably the card for that jack, but
Yeah, and I mean the Reckoner has armor 23 in Durst's feet, right?
it does.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Then that's
yeah.
not easy to kill.
I mean, but with Ragman and the Gorton's Rust,
Yeah, Gorman and Ragman combined.
Yeah,
Put-
sure. It's a
Put
mi-
Snapshot at 22.
Yeah.
So it's yeah.
but still, and he looks like he has put pretty much all his army into that Reckoner. and
Yeah.
it's still alive.
It's still alive.
Yeah.
it's
I
not
think
good.
that's less of a concern for him. I'm not. I think he decided that was the jack he could probably make attacks into
Yeah.
on his feet turn, so that's why it got left forward. But I think his main goal is to score those top and bottom zones and make it very hard for the Durst player to respond. So I think one of the big questions is going to be how quickly can the Durst player get stuff into those zones, and can the Gorton player clear that light jack out of the top zone on this next turn? He really needs to go to 4 points on Durst 0 on this turn to have a chance to then clear out one zone and win.
But the question is, what does he have? What are those troopers up in the top zone?
Chaos Eliminators.
So they're not gonna clear out that jack.
Not. It's past the feet turn for Durst, right? He feated last turn.
Hmm.
So I don't know what the light jack's armor is. they probably won't do it by themselves, but if they can get, say, a double-barreled hand cannon shot from Gorton beforehand, and maybe like another chip here or there.
He has Thorn gun mages in the list.
Yes. So
So-
he can also Thunderbolt models out of the zone. So I think that's the Gorton players. Clearly, that's the Gorton players' path to victory here, barring an assassination, is to score that top and bottom zone again this turn, and then hopefully be able to score one of the two of them on the final turn and contest the other to win the game. So we'll have to see if he's capable of doing it, and what the Durst player is able to do about that.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna flip over to table 2 again. The beach table with Butcher 2, or not Butcher 2, Amon and Balder 2.
Do we have? Can we just
So-
play some music? Just some waves crashing on shore, because that's the feeling I get when I see this. table.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very peaceful.
Yeah.
So it looks like the circle player probably put the shifting stones into the zone and has scored 1 control point.
Yes. Yep. Do we have a? Do we think? Can you see a marker? Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah, right on the bottom.
So here you go, guys. This table is doing helping us out. So if you check that out there at the bottom, looks like they're marking off turns and also their control points.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get the other tables to maybe do that for us as well. It'll help kind of bring some clarity to situations that we, switching between tables. It's hard to keep a track on that.
So you have Boulder snugly behind a rock wall and the stone monkey.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looks like.
Yes,
it.
that's Balder.
Yeah,
this
that's
this is Balder right here, right?
I'm not.
Yeah.
He's camping, I think, 1 maybe, or even 3. I'm not sure which is
which
your.
is Fury, and which is he still gets worm tokens, right? In Mark 3, yeah.
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 I'm thinking if there's like a chance that Dervish can get to him, but probably not.
He's pretty wedged in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually not even sure whose turn it is right now.
It seems like the Amon plays the thinky guy.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
he's debating here in his control phase, probably.
So we've seen maybe like half of the games right now. Do you have like any prediction which team is going to win? Because it seems pretty rough for the Assyria player.
I think the Assyria player is going to lose. We can go check in on it real quick and take a look, but I believe if we could kind of go through all 5 tables and just kind of give a state of the union, sort of.
Yeah.
So we have this is the Assyria and Denegra match, and it looks like Denegra is in complete control of the scenario zones. However, the marker, I don't think they're updating their marker because it looks like they're still on turn 1 with
I
0
think they
points.
have a creative way of maybe moving the markers right and left into the spaces
Oh,
and the
yeah,
little things.
I think
So
you're right.
I would guess that the Ghostly player is up control two control posts. Oh, okay.
Oh,
So-
okay.
And
Okay. So we will
just
move
FYI
the overlay so that you guys can kind of see what we're
We
talking
think
about.
that
It's-
the Ghostly player is up by 2 control points if we can figure out their system.
And
Right.
it looks like the Ghost Free player has already lost his Wraith engine, because it's there.
yes, the Wraith
Yes.
engine is gone.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I imagine that's was Hyperion's job.
Yeah.
The Wraith engine, in my opinion, it's a nice piece for the Ghost Fleet army to have. It takes a lot of effort to remove frequently, but it's certainly not.
Impossible to remove.
It's not impossible to remove, nor is it like critical to their game plan at
Okay.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to flip over to 4. 4 is the Kane 3 Butcher 3. And I feel like this is...
Nothing much has happened. He has moved the Clamjacks closer to the Charger in the lower zone,
yep.
and probably is doing attacks on them right now.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, he does.
In the center zone, it looks like he's got a heavy contesting
Yeah,
alongside
he does.
another. I don't
Charger.
know. Is that a charger there?
Yeah.
And then in the top zone, what is the light on the Butcher player's edge? This guy here. Can you make out what that guy is?
That might be a Minuteman.
It could
yes.
be a Minuteman. So
Yeah.
I wonder if
Right, he has 2 Minutemen in the
yeah,
in the
he
list.
does have 2 Minutemen. So I think that maybe what that is. So does the Kane player is currently in control of the top zone. He's not scoring any points because there's not a unit up there.
Yeah.
And again, like if we look at the Kane 3 list, the only thing that can score the top or bottom zone for Kane 3 is
Kane
Kane
himself.
himself.
And the charger in the lower zone just died, and the second jack is charging into the middle, which is also a Minuteman, I believe. So he's trying to clear that zone to score.
Yeah, so you can score that central zone. The Butcher list also, what does it have? Mechanics maybe as their scoring unit, and that's probably
Yeah.
about it.
And
So-
if he dares to, he can probably move Butcher himself into the lower zone and score 2 points.
Not even mechanics.
No, but they actually have the
Oh, the
Widowmaker
Widowmaker
Scouts. The
Widowmaker
Widowmaker
Scouts.
Scouts.
Also the
Yeah,
white-
yeah, so those are
white bases in-
Widowmakers.
yeah,
Yeah,
on the hill there.
Down on the hill. So he does have a unit, but between the two lights, I don't think the Widowmakers are going to really have a chance at that top unit,
There goes
top
the Jack.
zone.
So he's scoring at least 1 point.
1 point this turn.
And
yeah.
like I said, if he dares to, he goes with Butcher into the lower zone and scores another point. But
That's
I don't know if he wants to do it against Kane 3,
He
especially if it's...
He's he's going to run the Widowmakers that way
Yeah.
to put pressure on that zone, which is smart. I think he just wants to play the slow game,
Yeah.
leave Butcher exactly where he's at. The longer the game goes, the worse it is for Kane, right?
Yeah. And the more lights he takes
yes,
out, the harder it gets for Kane, especially if he hasn't feeded yet.
I feel like from this board position here, unless the Butcher player makes a mistake with Butcher himself, he's probably favored to win this game.
Yeah.
All right. Taking a look at 3. This is the Cray and Morgul game.
I think we have a dead Cannoneer that used to be in the top zone. Yeah.
Yep, you're right. Yeah. So the Cannoneer that was in that top zone is gone. Looks like Cray managed to send in some jacks to clear it out.
A Brave Extoder behind the wall holding that zone.
Yeah. Looks like he's got, is that a Hammersmith, the heavy in that top zone?
It seems so.
Yeah.
And that's probably got admonition on it, would be my guess.
Yeah. Looks like it.
Yeah, so that's a good piece up there holding that zone. I can't tell what's behind Morgul's wall. I assume it's an extoller,
Yes,
probably.
seems so.
Yeah.
And
Looks like an
Couple
extoller.
of sort tokens.
Is this one of Cray's lights there?
Yep, probably.
Yeah. So that looks like a zone that is pretty heavily advantaged to Cray at the moment, but we might see a Titan or two head that way. What is Morgul? What else does Morgul have in his list? What does he got over there on the? Is that a cat? Are those catapult crews down on the bottom?
I guess Venators.
They must be
probably.
Venator
The flare
Flare
cannons.
ca-
flare
cannon.
cannons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's trying to move but he can't move him into the zone because they are not fast enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he can
So-
contest at least, seems
Yeah.
like.
Even if he could clear it.
So what's the Signar unit that's currently contesting? the Signar models?
It's probably mechanics.
Yeah, I would
Um,
believe it's
yeah.
mechanics.
Yeah. I can pull up the list very quickly. We can take a look. Cray. He
Field
has
mechanics.
field mechanics, which are actually quite nice to contest zones with because they're just base defense 14 on the on the gobbers, right?
Yeah.
I've had several annoyances trying to clear out a zone contested by mechanics. So let's see if he can do it. Cray looks well positioned to attack into all the zones. Particularly, I mean, this is kind of what Cray does well now.
Yeah.
Just builds up a sort of bunker of heavies that can sortie out into any location, any scenario location, and come back protected to him.
So
So let's go ahead and check out Table 2. Table 2 is Butcher 2, or Balder again, Balder 2, and Amon.
So we have some stuff going into the megalith and the center. No, that's not the megalith. What is it?
Up on top.
Yeah, this is probably the megalith,
Megalith,
and then we have
yeah.
the walled guardian
Yeah.
on top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Vault Guardian next to the battle engine.
Next to this up here is
Yeah.
the Wool Guardian.
Yeah.
Right here, yes.
Yeah.
And then we think this here,
Would be Megalith.
or is that one of?
No,
That's a Retribution Jack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Or not Retribution.
Circle.
Protectorate. Or
Yeah, Protectorate.
Yeah.
So seems like the bottom zone is contested by one circle model. This little guy?
Yeah, probably a wrong country. Probably a black clad. He's got 2 stone. I think it's a black clad stone shaper, probably, right? Maybe it's the Wayfarer.
Going against Choir Boys, so I don't expect to see that much action happening down there.
Right. Depends on whether or not Amon wants to divert off jacks. Again, I feel like the circle player is just has too much work to do in the jacks that are capable of. Is this perhaps is that Megalith?
No, well, maybe Megalith is dead. Yeah, actually Megalith is dead. You can
Oh,
see him
yep,
in
you're
the
totally
bottom
right.
right corner.
There he is. Not on the table. That explains why none of them look like Megalith.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. So what's the tally on the Protector Jacks? How many do you think he has lost? Because I can't see any.
Yeah, it's
quotes
hard
anywhere.
to see. I think the bases, so this is a Protectorate Jack. This is a Protectorate Jack. This.
I think I see 7 Protector Jacks on the table. So maybe Amon hasn't lost maybe anything.
One. What is this model?
It seems like a Repenter.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And he started with how many?
He started with. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he's
Okay.
down probably in the range of 3 to 4 jacks,
Yeah.
depending on whether or not we've.
So it looks like a grindfest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna go check in on see if Gorton can clear that top and bottom zone.
On table 1.
All right.
Mm.
So we have just the jack in the top zone. That feat token has been out for several turns now. I'm going to assume that.
Maybe he just took another feat. That's
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, haven't you ever tried feeding twice?
No, I haven't ever. That sounds
Okay.
wonderful.
Yeah,
I've really been missing out.
Especially with Shooty Army. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, but this is the level of the WTC players to actually get extra feats.
extra feats. Yeah, that's
which,
yeah.
which is why they are here.
That's why they're the best players in the world.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can note that the jack up in the top zone is still there, which means he may not get the full 4 points. Probably will not get the full 4 points at the end of this turn that he kind of needed. So we've got Thorn Gun Mages advancing here. He certainly controls the bottom zone. He's definitely going to go up to 3 points off of that.
Gets a choir boy.
Yeah, it looks like picking out choir boys. That is that acid bath, I think, there in front of him is that terrain feature. That's not a forest. So that's why they're able to shoot through
No,
that.
that's actually shallow water.
Oh, is it shallow water?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yep.
So the acid is the brighter green pool. This
Yeah,
one here?
This one.
Yeah, okay. Whereas the other is just shallow water. So it looks like they're probably just putting some both
Yeah.
barrel shots into some jacks at this point. See
Yeah.
if they can ding him up a little bit.
We see the Reckoner still hanging on to his zone.
Yeah. I'm surprised the Reckoner's still there.
But Gorton has moved quite away from where we last saw him, right?
I suspect Gordon just ran because he certainly can't waddle 4 inches that far. So Gordon got out of dodge, decided to relocate to this zone. It looks like the Gordon player is making a push to block out the Amon player from being able to actually get into the zone and pick up his 5 points that way. That large bit of shallow water actually should make that difficult for the Amon player to get in here through the blockade of
Still Durst.
Durst. Thank you, Durst. Durst. Yes. Amon could get there quite easily. I knew what was going on, but not the caster's name, apparently. So
I mean, I can understand why the word thirst is not on your mind. You're not thirsty, because that's the German word for thirst.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
but I mean,
I'm always
yeah.
always thirsty. So yeah, right. Durst has no means of granting Pathfinder. Boundless charge. Boundless charge. He does have boundless charge, so that can help him get 1, maybe 2 jacks into that zone to contest. He's going to need to do that on the next turn. It's hard to see. It looks like the marker is up in the top here for them, and it. It looks like our presumption here, but just briefly before we switch tables. So that is their counter. It looks like they're on turn 4, and it looks like the Gordon player only has 1 point currently. So we thought he scored 2 points on his feet turn, but
apparently not.
unless he maybe that jack didn't get all the way out of that light jack didn't get quite all the way out of the zone on the push. I'm not sure. So
Well,
that's kind of a big deal. I don't know if the Gordon player can win in against this list from 1 point with his feet already used. All right, we're going to go check in, I think, on the Denegra table. Is that right? Yes, we're going to check in on table 5 with Denegra and Assyria. Okay. So back to the Ruined City table. And
Seems like the scenario score is tied, 1-1.
1-1, yeah.
Can make it out correctly.
Turn 2, 1-1. So some of these turns have been maybe a little bit misleading. We definitely thought Denny had full control of the zones for multiple turns, right? So
Seems like the bottom zone is contested by, I think,
1, 2, 3,
It's hard-
4-ish maybe.
it's hard to make out where the zone actually ends, but it seems like to be
now
4.
now 1 less. So yeah, I think 4, maybe 5 remaining. I think 4 remaining. I think we've got 1,
probably the one in the trench is also contesting.
2,
I would assume.
3, probably 4. And I
That's it.
can't tell. I don't think there's anything in here that's actually
No.
So I think that's what's left to contest the zone this turn for the Assyria player. Looks like he's still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 strike force there. Does that look right? Maybe one of them is Iris. Yeah,
That looks like Iris.
that's Iris. Yeah, so
Behind the
9 total strike force, 4 of which are in the zone. Up here we have probably Narn and a Chimera, it looks like, right there. And I think that's all he's got towards that top zone, right?
I would guess so.
So still looking pretty rough for the Assyria player. He also probably, it's hard to tell on this cobblestone, but I do think that Hyperion is just towed into that center
I
zone.
would be
Yeah,
surprised if
yeah,
he
yeah.
was
If
not.
he wasn't,
Yeah,
he's in there.
yeah. So, all right, so
No, he definitely is.
yeah, so we're active. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're activating some ghost pirates. Now, ghost shot does not ignore stealth, right?
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Line of sight, concealment, and cover. So I am curious how, because we didn't get to see, and maybe it was Blackbanes, but he doesn't have like 30 Blackbanes. So I'm wondering how that left side Strike Force unit died, or the top side Strike Force unit died, because can't shoot him off the table since he doesn't ignore stealth.
Yeah.
And
They should be able to shoot up to Blackbanes.
right, and the Blackbanes, like I said, there's not a whole Mage Hunter Strike Force of Blackbanes up there, you know. So
I mean, I would guess maybe there was some arc noting Venoms or something.
that could be.
Because we did see a light jack up there.
We've
previously.
got 8 Blackbanes plus the leader up there, so that's 3 more than a min unit, right?
Yeah.
So he's made a couple, so maybe they did kill a couple of Strike Force, but yeah, that's be interesting to go back once all the games are posted and look and see exactly how they died, because I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can go check in on 4. A little Butcher 3 Kane 3, see if the Butcher 3 player left his Butcher in the trenches,
he
and yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
It seems super dumb to get out of there when you already had the Widowmakers in the zone.
Yep, I
and
agree.
the Kane unit's moving up towards the top zone.
So there is no Kador Heavy here anymore, right? There was a Heavy
I think we had 2 heavies.
There were 2 heavies in that zone. So
in the central zone there.
yeah, there were 2 heavies.
Right.
And he feeded them out probably.
Yeah. So
Otherwise,
I don't know how he gets rid of them, right? Yeah. So that's good for Kane. I wonder.
Yeah, so I guess he had to open up a clamjack and in the center. I guess that's what's happened.
It looks
I
like
would-
their control points are 2-2 based on. It's a little hard to read at the top.
Yeah.
It's at the very, very top. It looks like they're playing maybe in turn 3 right now at 2-2.
yeah.
So I don't know. How would you go from here as the Kane player?
How would I go from here? Since he cleared those 2 jacks, I would just try to stave off anything coming into the zone, which might be a bit hard with those 2 heavies in the bottom zone. And he's doing the right thing, moving Kane up into the top zone and start scoring there, because the Butcher player doesn't have enough stuff left to contest that zone up there. And if he's up on points, or gets up on points on that, then it's just waiting for the game to end, basically.
So do you feel that the Butcher can start to come out now if the feed has been popped already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's armor 18. He has 20 boxes. I mean, sure, he still has hunters. He still has chargers and Minutemen. But I would say the light on the left edge of the bottom zone will die now. And the more lights he can get, the more the Butcher can come out to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the Butcher could even go into that zone, and while he probably doesn't have the range to pull in both the jacks, both the Hunter on the bottom and the Charger on the left, and kill them, but yeah,
We
he
can see him
he can come out.
I think I would expect the clamjack just run up maybe to contest both the circle
Round.
zone and
Yeah.
the rectangle zone, and then have Butcher just try to dominate the lower zone, just on full camp and killing all the light that tries to contest.
That's probably a good idea as well. But he does. I don't know the point situation, but
It looks like it's 2-2 right now.
okay.
It looks even.
Okay, then it's probably okay. If he's behind on points, then he's got a problem with contesting the upper zone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Can we tell this is a jack of some sort here? Do we think? Or
Medium
is
base
it-
Cater Jack? Probably not.
Probably not. Oh, that's probably a Greylord Forge Seer,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah, good point. Probably not a medium base Gaylord jack. Thank you, Regard.
I'm happy to help.
Yeah, he has one Greylord Forge Seer, so that has to be what that model is. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Let's check in over at 3. Get back to that sweet cray action. And it looks like the Cray player is playing
And
now.
we just one more comment on the table before. It was 2-2 Kane 3 versus Butcher
Okay.
3.
Okay.
So we'll see how he goes from there.
Yeah.
Guess just trying to toe the scenario zones.
In what-
The top zone
we-
looks completely cleared now.
Do we think Cray has feeded? Do we think that's what that big yellow disc there is representing, or maybe that's just like a proxy base for heavy?
I would
Yeah,
guess proxy.
Yeah, because he has a few more of those on the left, of
Yeah.
which he's
Oh,
covering.
okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still have 2 Titans left on the scorn side. The top zone has been cleared out of the contesting Extoller, but there's nothing there for the
Cray
Cray.
player to score.
yeah.
So not charging, just walking forward here.
There we go.
Hammersmith.
So that's 1 point.
So Hammersmith still beat back?
Yeah,
Okay.
he does.
Okay.
Although he can't-
Obviously, you can't in this
beat back
situation.
dead models.
Yeah, yeah. It's not as good as it once was, but. And then he's going to go ahead and reposition 5. Reposition 5 on heavy warjacks is just insane. It's so
Sounds
good.
I
It's
mean,
so
Hammersmith and Centurions have speed 4. They trample 7 and reposition 5.
Yes.
And they're 4 inches farther than running.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
insane.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was good getting reposition 3 on my drillers where they could trample 7 and reposition 3, and I was 10 inches up instead of 8 inches up. But yeah, reposition 5 is just.
yeah.
It's quite
bonkers.
nuts. It's quite nuts.
I guess the Haley feet freed up some design space for them.
Yeah.
There's the dreaded word again. What's the time count?
Hey, you know what's better than drillers with Repo 3? Advanced move drillers.
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
You're wrong. You are so wrong. Okay, sorry. Drillers with Repo 3 or drillers with advanced move and free iris.
Drillers with Repo 3.
Here we go. No, that's probably not the feet. Or is it?
That's definitely a feat token.
Yeah, but it's also
it's also a measuring widget. It
yeah.
looks like, yeah,
4 inches, I guess.
yeah.
4 inches to 2 inches.
All right.
So I guess we're seeing only 1 control point right now for the Cray player because the Extoller is still standing in the lower zone.
Yeah. Well, and I suspect as we've been switching back and forth, it seemed like that top zone was contested all the way up to this turn, probably.
Yeah.
Is that a minute? That's a Minuteman on the other side of that Winds of Death wall. Is
I
that
would guess
probably
so.
right?
And we have a building that's blocking the Titan from actually getting to the Hammersmith.
The Cray player, right? He has Minutemen. Yeah, he has 2 Minutemen. Okay.
So since it's been asked a couple of times in the chat, if you go to wmh-wtc.com/war machine, you can go and see results and pairings for all the other games. There's the first few results are coming in, but all the pairings, all the individual pairings are up there on that page.
Okay, we will take a look at 2, where we have Balder 2 and Amon. See, I got it right this time. Balder 2, not Butcher 2.
Yeah, that's probably because I just wrote.
You just wrote
B2.
B2, yes.
That's the universal sign for Butcher 2.
Yeah. All right, so we've got both huge bases coming together here, trying to take out the book and take out the. I think maybe he's making spray attacks with roll some boxcars.
Yeah.
Making some spray attacks with Celestial Fulcrum, I think.
Yeah, having to punch out the book with your gargantuan is the saddest thing.
Yes, it is. It looks like we're still at 1-1. It looks like we played 4 turns. This one may go
The distance.
The distance.
Because
I'm a little surprised. I thought the Amon player would be able to just kind of get into the
Yeah,
smaller
but-
Balder list. And
yeah, but the less jacks he has, the less opportunity he has to take out that stun monkey.
No, absolutely.
But it still
That
looks
thing
that
is a
he's
bitch to remove.
like he is taking control of the upper zone, I think. There's the Stone Guardian, the World Guardian, and beyond that, it's gonna be hard to contest. I think if he just clears out the chaff in the top zone, it's gonna start scoring.
For the Balder player, you mean?
For the Amon player.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is his turn starting. So I would guess if he has clears out the upper zone and starts taking a scenario, he can contest with much more chaff. The Boulder player can't extend as much without risking Boulder. So I think that's what I would go for probably. I'm not sure if Amon is feeded.
Well, since there's not a lot of jacks left on the table, I say his feet is already out.
I mean, as long as he got synergy.
Yeah.
That
Right.
We can see some damage on the cards in the upper zone. Not sure if anything super vital is out for the fighter jacks.
He's definitely. I mean, what are we at here for Amon Jax? Do we see 3, 4?
1, 2, 3.
4?
5 probably.
Yeah.
Going by the focus tokens that scatter around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. 5.
It's 5.
So
Actually 6. We have a little repenter there by the big
Oh
guys.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
under the monkey
Yeah.
there. But still, the Balder player has cut through about half of his jacks, which is
Yeah.
Yeah, and has only lost 1 heavy, it looks like.
right. Just megalith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and some like contesting dudes.
Right.
So I'm not sure what the Amon player is going for right now. I would, yeah, they've got some more focus. Let's see how he allocates.
All right, we're gonna check in on table 1. This is the Gorton, and yep. So it looks like it's 2-0 Gorton. So he did again on his last turn score that bottom zone, and I'm assuming that there's something in there contesting right now for Durst.
And the Durst player managed to get rid of the Kayazi up top and put some more models into that zone. Even a unit, I believe. I think that's a choir.
Yeah, it looks like choir, but it doesn't look like
All of them are
all
in
of
there.
them, maybe. All right, so we have Roven in the bottom zone, and that's it.
Yep.
So that was what he was able to get in there last turn. So the problem is now that we are 2 turns removed from Gorton's feet. He's, like I said at the beginning, I believe his list just is not built for attrition, particularly in this matchup. He's got nothing going on in the top zone, and we kind of indicated that Gorton needed to win over the course of the turn and a half following his feat. He hasn't done that. He actually is only up 2-0, and I think the Durst player is going to be able to
Yeah.
to take care of this game from this point.
I think we have 3 last or 4 last lights on the Gorton side.
Oh,
I
sure.
think it started with 7.
Yeah. 7 might be a little high. I think it may have been
Maybe
6.
6.
Yeah.
2 blasters, 4 gunners.
Let's see. It's New Zealand is the. Yeah, I think it was 2 blasters, 4 gunners. I think. Yeah, 2 blasters, 4 gunners.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I sort of expect to see the Gorton player attempting to kill Durst at this point. Yes, he's up on scenario. That just means he gets a couple shots, a couple chances.
We can see the feet token find the gun as well.
Yeah. That Durst feat only lasted for 3 turns.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So and just to check in a little on other teams, for instance, USA Red is playing one of the Swedish teams, which is probably not an easy matchup for them.
USA Red playing one of the Swedish teams. Which Swedish team?
Norland.
Yeah, I
So-
think that's one of the front runner teams this year, I believe.
Yeah.
They've had quite a bit of practice.
And the site tells me USA Texas is already up 1-0 over Finland leftovers.
Okay.
USA Blue, Brian Marino has won his matchup against Norway. The second Germany team is already up 2-0. The first one is playing Canada Muse, which is also with the team of Tim Banky.
Yes.
It's not easy.
No.
Oh,
Oh, so
Ruh-roh.
the Durst player is on 23 seconds left. Is that? Can we confirm? Is that correct? The Durst player is on. So
yeah.
the Durst player is about to clock himself.
Yes.
Apparently. So it turns out that the Gorton player is going to be okay. I think.
Okay,
He's-
so do we have like sort of pre-end game predictions how the match is gonna go?
I'm sort of surprised that the Gorton player is bothering to play out his turn. If it's 23 seconds remaining.
Why not?
I suppose. Yeah, it could be for tiebreakers, perhaps.
Yeah, just get some more control points.
Yeah. So how do we predict the other matchups are going to go? Is that what you're...
Yeah,
So I think the Butcher 3 Kane 3 game is interesting.
it's interesting. I wouldn't call that in either direction.
I
right
agree.
now.
So we'll check in on 4 with the Butcher 3 Kane 3 game again. And looks like the Butcher player is managing or attempting to clear out that bottom zone, but that far bottom light in that cloud there is. It looks like the Jack has already gotten into it and not killed it, and it looks Oh, it's not even the Butcher player's turn.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Clam decks have bulldoze, right?
They do, I believe. Yes.
We'll double check.
Yeah.
Because then, like, I think like a huge mistake would be to actually open it up and make attacks, especially if he has bulldozed the contesting piece out of the zone.
Yeah. No, agreed. What's he got? He's got Devastators.
Yeah, Devastator's a bulldoze.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, you're absolutely right. And it looks like the Chargers are the lights here. I think they're both Chargers. Maybe a Charger and Hunter.
Somebody's frustrated with the dice, probably.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's 23 minutes for the Durst player, not 23 seconds, which explains why they haven't
He's
just
still
shaken hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, why he's still so
Uh,
calm.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back the other way. As more information comes in, I'm going to change my mind every time about who's going to win that game. So enjoy that, Twitch listeners. I'm going to call it for Durst again.
So the
You're such a flip flopper, Josh.
I know. Well, you know me. I like to. I'm an American, so I like to talk without all the information.
and you're even wearing flip-flops.
That's right.
In this game, we see that we have lost 2 Widowmakers. I think,
Yep.
I'm not sure.
He does.
The Devastator is really far down, so
He cleared that hunter that was down there.
yeah, but I mean, you still have contested piece, and the rectangular and upper zone are wide open, I think, now for the Kane player.
It looks
Yeah.
that way.
And the damage he just marked is probably on the Squire. He's straddling both
Yep.
zones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Signar player has positioned his models quite nicely. Three of the 4 far points
Yeah.
in the zone, so it's very hard for the Kadar player to efficiently clear that bottom zone, which is what he needs to do.
yeah,
And he has nothing left to contest.
no,
He does not. And do we have Kane? Is this?
Yeah,
is
that's,
that Kane
that's
right
probably
there?
Kane, yeah.
So it'd be nice if we could potentially see if we can get an update on the score in that game, but and maybe the clock situation. But
yeah. I think it's a
Uh,
mistake for the Butcher to stand back because he has to come forward and start to actually affect the game.
yeah, I think
more.
as soon as Kane popped his feet, we needed to see the Butcher get some action in. And it looks like he's considering it now, but... All right, so we're on 12 minutes for New Zealand left in this game and 8 minutes for Wales. Wales, of course, Butcher 3, 12 minutes for Kane. So the player in the driver's seat also has the most time, usually.
Yeah.
Pretty good
That's-
situation.
I actually don't see how Butcher can conceivably win this. if he's not up a lot on control points already.
Right. Yeah. And from what we've seen of this game, there's no way he
No.
could be. So, yeah. We'll try and. Oh yeah. So
Okay.
Kane is already up 4 points.
That's
So at this point,
it
I
for
think
Kane.
it would take some sort of miracle that I can't see for Wales to pull this matchup out. So I believe that'll split us, right? Is it the Durst player is Welsh? Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So I think that'll split 1-1 if we're gonna do the New York Times things and call games early.
I think we should.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll call it 1-1 currently, and we'll keep you updated on those two games. But let's we can check out 5. The 5. I'd kind of like to take a look at that Cray game. We're not going to get to see Cray a lot this week, and I wanna watch it.
It's one of 2 Cray players in the whole WTC.
Exactly. So this may be our only chance to watch Cray play.
And he's coming from behind his wall a little bit forward.
Yeah, we still see 2 Titans still alive. Top zone is still undisturbed, but nothing they're scoring for the Signar player. So
If we could get a point count on this, I think we're sending our man on the scene.
Yep.
To get us a point count.
Bartek.
Looks like the Cannoneers taking some shots at the defender here. Depending on the score here, it looks like Cray is in the driver's seat at the moment. Just that top zone seems like it's going to be quite difficult. Is that a hill? Is this piece? If you could check is this piece right
That's
here?
actually an
building.
obstruction.
Or is it
Yeah,
an
obstruction.
Okay, so that's going to make it fairly difficult for.
Yeah, that's an obstruction.
All right, so in this game, Cray has 17 minutes, and there's 11 minutes to Morgul. And Cray is up 3-0 on control points, so in a very strong position. I think Cray's ability to just get his heavies in, get them back out, it makes it very hard to commit to his zone. And it's very hard to alpha him.
And that Titan he's just measuring out right now is standing in front of a building, in front of an obstruction.
Yeah.
So the Welsh player doesn't have a really good opportunity to get into the top zone. And Cray, although he's in the middle of the table, has speed 8 and reposition, so he can move into that zone on a pinch.
Quite easily, yeah.
Yeah, so that zone's lost to the Scorn player.
Right. And being down 3-0 with his own completely lost to you.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no. So this looks like, I want to say that the Cray player is definitely, New York Times declares the Cray player the victor.
yes,
Early returns.
Let's do it.
So we're on 2-1.
2-1
To
for
New Zealand,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, is how I believe this is going to shake out.
The seesaw matches is
So we
Kane Butcher.
let's check in on the table 5, the Assyria and Denegra table, real quick. This one we
And-
believed was going to go
And while we're
Denegra's way.
And while we're doing this, USA Texas has already won its matchup. Tom Guan and David Smith won their matches as well.
Tom
And
Guan won a matchup. He hasn't played a game of War Machine in
it
like
was Coven against Assyria.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. But not Dark Host Coven.
I don't know actually.
No, if it's Tom's list.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when Tom submitted his list, Dark Host didn't exist, and he's been jetting around the world playing Magic since then.
Yeah,
so.
okay. He still has it.
But he still has the power. He's quite a gamer.
Yeah. Which team did they meet?
What team did Texas play?
Finland leftovers.
Finland
Oh.
leftovers. Okay.
That's the one
Okay.
with Tattoo,
Yes.
Yeah.
who was on the winning team 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yes.
17 minutes on New Zealand's clock, 4 minutes on the Welsh clock, and the current score is 1-1. So
So with the recursion the Ghost Fleet has going, he can just push him into the clock?
yes,
Probably?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. And this would take New Zealand up 3-1.
And I'm just getting the info that the second German team won 5-0
5-0.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
against Russia Bears.
Okay. Our other matchup.
Obviously, I have a little bit of interest in how the German teams are doing.
No, I think we should keep a track of how the Canadians, the Germans, the U.S. teams, the Swedes, and of course the Australians are doing
Yeah.
throughout the day.
Well, I expect one of these teams to be on our table in due time.
So somebody in the chat is asking us to do interviews. If we can get the team captains over, I would love to do that. We did it last year. We'll see. We haven't quite worked out the details of it yet. I would really like to interview at least the captain from the winning team. We may not happen this round because we didn't talk to them about it beforehand, and frequently they run off to eat lunch or use the bathroom or take a break in between rounds. But if possible, we will do so. It also matters whether or not the team captain can speak English.
And speaking of interviews, if any of you guys in the chat speak German, go to our Twitch channel. On the earlier videos during the training week, we did interviews with all the German players and asked them some really interesting questions, like which beer they like best, which base size is their mother, and stuff like that.
Okay.
You got to understand German for that.
Yeah. So we're gonna go flip over to 2 and check in on Baldur 2 and Amon. In this game, we believe pretty.
So some stuff has happened. We've seen the Vault Guardian in the top zone and the Fulcrum has been removed from the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I am probably going to call this a scenario victory for New Zealand eventually.
Yeah, it looks like he's currently up either 2 or 3. I think
I
it's
would
3.
say 3 to 1.
Yeah, and it looks like they are probably currently playing turn 5
And,
or 6.
Judging by what's on the tablet of the Welsh player, I
Oh.
think they are doing an assassination.
Yeah, I
on
think
it.
you're right. That absolutely looks like Baldur's Grid. So Yeah.
Because
he's up there in front
yeah,
of
he's in
the.
the
Yeah, I can
front of
see
the
his. I can see.
Gargantuan.
You can see the raised. That's
Okay.
Baldur there, I believe. The time is apparently 13-5 in favor of New
Zealand?
Zealand, the Amon player. But apparently it's 1-1 on control points. That's not
Yeah.
what the score card there looks like, but that is what we. Maybe it's a smudge or whatever that looks like it is turned into a 3.
Yeah.
At any rate, if he manages to kill Baldur, it won't matter. So
Yeah.
But
we'll
he-
stick with it here for a minute and see if the Amon player can manage to
does
to
he
finish
have
him off.
more attacks going into?
That's what I can't tell. We don't know quite what he's activated,
He
but he
just-
has 3 jacks with
So
focus. I don't know. One of them maybe a repenter.
Okay, something moved into the bottom zone, into the middle zone, hit Baldur, and contests the zone.
Yep.
And
Probably
that's nothing.
Yep.
I think just like I see the vassal that's contesting the rectangle zone as well.
Yeah.
And Amon is hiding behind a building, so I don't see how Baldur could get to him
Right.
this turn.
Right. Yeah, Baldur can be quite threatening, but not much of a threat range.
Yeah. I played in a tournament a few months ago. I played 2 times against Baldur 2 in consecutive games with Haley 2. Both times the Baldur player forgot to put Roots of the Earth on himself.
Oh.
Yeah.
So TK and then just
Right.
shooting him to death.
Right.
And there's a wild Tom Guan appearing at our table.
Yes.
One of these 3 people play this game. One. No.
Tom's trying to give us a hard time. Sorry. He's distracting. We got to keep these War Machine players under control. All right. So I don't know. Does it appear he has many more attacks? Yeah, it looks like maybe that's 2 points, 2 control points. It looks like that's the end of the Amon player's turn. He goes up
Balder's down to
2 control points. Balder,
5 or 6 boxes.
I think it's,
yeah,
it's
Balder's
five,
at
5 to
5.
1.
What's that?
I know Amon goes to 5 probably.
On this turn, they had told
But
us.
how?
They had
How?
told us that it was 1-1 when we thought it was 3-1.
Okay,
So I think now it's 2-1. Because I
but
believe all he's
Yeah,
done
but-
is score that top zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he scores the top
Yeah,
zone.
I don't.
Yeah,
under
2-1.
maybe
Yeah,
their
okay, I
pen
see it,
is
yeah.
like messy or something of that nature.
And judging by the table state, I don't think the Balder player has anything left to contest the top zone.
no,
No.
looks hard.
Because the Stone Monkey's too slow.
Right.
And I mean, if he moves the Stone Monk after the bottom zone to contest, he just leaves that zone instead. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. He literally.
Does he have anything left besides Balder and the Stone Monkey?
He has a tree.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that might. And this, whatever this is, might be a circle model, but it's hard to make out.
I mean,
It looks, from the way that they're talking, it certainly
Yeah.
looks like the Balder player may have very
And
well just
we have
conceded the game.
missed the shake hands.
Yeah. Because they're certainly not playing anymore. So I believe that this game is over in favor of New Zealand.
So that would be up 3-1 by our New York Times count.
Yes,
For-
by our New York Times count, I believe that makes them advantage
winners of
3-1.
this match.
The winners of the match, yeah.
So who's next? I'm sorry. Couldn't resist.
All right, we're going to check in on table 1 again. This is Gorton and Durst. This is...
Oh, Balder died.
Oh, so Balder did die. He just didn't fill in the rest of the boxes.
Yeah,
So probably the attack with, I think it was a Repenter was the last model he moved down. Is probably, with 3 focus, is probably what
Killed him.
killed him.
here we see one more Gun Bunny getting removed from the game. This is down to 2 now.
Yeah.
So the top Canadian team has won. Canada Beaver has won its matchup against Scotland.
It's hard to beat a beaver.
Probably is.
I was surprised that Raptor is still standing though.
Australia
Surprised.
drop bear is
Snapjaw?
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
2-0.
I think between the wall and positioning and light jacks in the way.
Oh yeah, there's actually a
Gordon's-
wall there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gordon's
okay.
wall
Yeah.
is up there.
Right.
So I think he's probably Gordon has probably put a lot of focus into leaving or keeping his one heavy
Yeah.
alive in the game.
But I can't see any Gorman around anymore. So I guess that's some.
I see something that looks like Thor. I don't know if Thor is actually in his list though. New Zealand, where are you? There you are. So New Zealand is up 3 points to nothing, even though it looks like it's 3-1 on the scorecard. So it's either 3-0 or 3-1, and but Gorton's clock is down to 2 minutes. So winning for Gorton here is, I think, a matter of assassination. He might be able to score that bottom zone one more time, maybe.
Possibly.
But it sort of doesn't matter because as long as the Durst player can score a point on the top zone, he's not gaining any ground. So, yeah. I think either the Gorton player manages to assassinate Durst with his 2 minutes or so on the clock, or this is definitely a Welsh victory. It looks like he's just trying to get his jacks cleared off so he can get his heavies down into that bottom zone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I can tell where Durst himself is. He may be blocking him with his arm right now, honestly.
I would guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
The big guy by the
The
focus
big guy,
stack.
right? This is the guy that looks like a Warjack himself. That's
Yeah.
Durst, right? Yeah.
And it's close proximity to focus.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that's what he's. Maybe that's what he's measuring out there is Durst's movement down. But I would not take him towards the enemy models at this point. I think I would take him up north. All right, on table 4, Kane 3 managed to win on scenario as we surmised he probably would at that point. So that's another one for New Zealand. So that'll take New Zealand up officially to 2 wins.
I think I have yet to win on scenario with Kane 3.
Yeah. Have you played into Butcher 3 much with him?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I think the Clamjack should have gone up to contest.
I agree. The Clamjacks needed to go up to contest, and Butcher 3 probably needed to get involved in the game.
Needed to get active in the bottom zone.
Yeah. Okay. So, here we are checking back into the Assyria de Negra game. As I remember so on this table, the Welsh player, if the game is over, we're looking at a finished game. The Welsh player ended up clocking himself, lost on death clock. He actually managed to put up a fight longer than we thought from sort of that initial push by de Negra.
Yeah.
But Ghost Fleet does what Ghost Fleet does.
So even without the New York Times count, this is New Zealand's because they are up 2-1 right now.
Right. So now they're up 2-0. 3-0 officially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-0.
3-0,
Yeah.
Yep. So it looks like a New Zealand victory. We'll check in on the remaining 2 games. Cray and Morgul 2. Do you want to go to table 3 and check that table out?
Still seeing 2 Titans alive. The Hammersmith that's still alive after some pounding, I guess.
And I'm getting the info that the top Australian team has won its matchup, Australia Drop Bear.
Okay.
And Germany 1 has won its matchup also
Okay.
against Canada Muse.
Oh, that's not the top Canadian team, but still a tough first round.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so
And the other Welsh team, Wales Drake, has lost against Portugal.
all right, so it looks like Wales as a country will start the day in the loss bracket. Looks like Cray is just trying to clear out this bottom zone again here in score. I don't think there's much other than... Looks like maybe that might be Venator Reaver Solo. And then a Cannoneer or Titan. I can't... It's hard. I think that's Cannon. That's the second Cannoneer that the Hammersmith is attacking here in the bottom.
I think
zone.
it's the Gladiator.
Oh,
Because-
I
because
thought
it's
this
got a
was,
little
is this not
mohawk.
the battle that he's rolling out right now?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's beating back with the Hammersmith,
Yeah.
knock him out of the zone.
And then if he goes into the...
Right, this is the... Oh, you think this is a Cannoneer? Is
Yeah,
that what you're
yeah,
saying?
it is.
Okay,
It's got
okay.
the club.
Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
If
you're
you
right.
can remove that, because Cray's already in the top zone, I think he can score up to 5.
Right. Or get himself 5 points. He is... It still would not give him the victory.
Yeah.
He'd be only up on his opponent by 4 points. But it will put him up 4 points.
There's a Charger shooting at the Extoller. I guess he aims to 8 against... I'm not sure what he's looking for, but roll a 7 seems to be miss.
Yeah. In the Forest...
I'm not sure the base defense of the Extoller, 13 maybe, 14? There it
yeah,
goes
looks
anyway.
like he managed to take him
Yeah.
out between the 2 shots.
But there's still one guy contesting.
There is.
It's Mr.
and that's, I
Defender.
think, a Venator of some kind. I can't tell if it's the solo or maybe just a member of a unit, like the unit leader or something of that nature.
I guess he could have
Looks like
repositioned the Hammersmith. I'm not sure if it's in
yep.
melee.
He should have repositioned the Hammersmith, but I'll tell you, sometimes you forget. It looks like they might. It does
Oh,
look
yeah,
like
might
he's still
bounce
out.
anyway.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Pop.
Oh, yeah,
That
that'll
hits.
hit. Yep.
And
So
kills
he's
him.
gone and cleared the zone. So Cray will go up to 5 points. The question is, can this other Hammersmith beat that Cannoneer out of the zone? If
No,
he can,
That's a defender going into the Cannoneer. The other
Isn't-
Hammersmith is up in the top zone.
there's
Yeah, I don't
only
know. Hammersmith left.
That's
so
a defender.
he only has one defender in his list, though.
No, 2.
Does he? I thought maybe I'm just blind then. Yeah, just one defender on the list. 2 Hammersmith.
No,
one
there's
def-
one on Jake's.
Oh,
it
Jake's.
shook-
Yeah.
it
Jake's
just shook
defender.
hands
Okay.
because
Yeah.
he killed the.
He killed the Titan, or
Yeah.
No, he slammed him out.
slammed him out, and
That
that'll score
moves him
3
up.
points and gets
Yeah.
him up 5. Yep.
So it's
that's
4-0 New Zealand,
yes.
and table 1 is still. That is, yeah, table 1
Table
is still
one
going.
is still going, right? Yeah. So we can check back into table 1. Yep. And this is our final match.
Martin defending the honor of Wales.
That's right.
I don't know how the other Wales-Portugal game went. If they got like,
They swept or not. So apparently, we're getting it reported that it's Gorton is up on. Yeah. Okay. Technical difficulties.
And the other Welsh game is 3-1 for Portugal right now, with 1 game undecided.
Okay.
mm.
So no sweep there for Team Wales. So, as you said, Martin here defending the honor of Wales.
Live on Facebook. So these are the ugly bastards that are doing all the streaming for you. And you've got a Lancing fellow there on the line. So that's the crew. When you're watching the streaming, that's
Okay. We can kind of see the clock here. It looks like Gorton is maybe at like 1:40 remaining. And about 6 minutes to the Welsh player, a little under 6. And it's still 3-1 in favor of Gordon. But the clock disparity, I think, unless the... Oh, well, okay, so that is Durst there, right?
I guess Bauer
just-
charging.
Boundless charged himself? Can you... Isn't it Warjack only? Or is
No.
it Battle Group model? It's Battle Group model?
It's battle group model.
Okay.
I believe.
Bonus is any model.
Anyway.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ricard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably Boundless charging himself to get over the wall and attack Snapjaw. But I feel like this maybe since his team is down 4-0, he's less
Just
concerned
going for
about
the showy move.
right.
Yeah.
Because certainly being up
Oh, he's attacking the
the
I
bunny
think.
behind Snapjaw.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he's
attacking.
attacking Snapjaw.
It's definitely
Yeah,
Snapjaw.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Boom.
So yeah, attacking Snapjaw.
Leaving
One
him
left.
on
Looks like
one
leave him
box.
on one. Did he spin down completely?
Apparently.
It looks like it. So I expect to see stumpy little Gorton, although that's a cloud effect, and he's probably more than 3 inches away, so maybe Gorton can't charge. So the question is that a 4-inch plus 1-inch reach? Probably.
Yeah.
It looks.
So
yeah.
Snapjaw got removed,
Yeah.
and that's shaking hands.
Yeah.
Shaking hands. Yeah. Oh, he's just scoring an additional point and then conceding.
It's turn 7. End of the game.
Oh yeah, that could
Yeah.
that could be. Yeah. Is there another model in Gorton's list that's contesting the center zone?
It looks like one.
Maybe that bunny is.
Yeah, maybe that bunny is.
Yeah.
But I believe the Welsh player couldn't remove enough stuff, and that was turn 7.
Okay. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
All right, so the end of round 7 here, New Zealand does win 3-2.
This individual
Gordon-
match, they win 5-0 on the whole.
Correct. Yep. So, yeah. I guess sluggy, grindy armies do what sluggy, grindy armies do. We have
Yeah.
one game here on camera going to round 7.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
That was round 1.
yeah. Okay, sounds good. We will take a brief intermission here and try to get the captain of the winning team on if we can talk him over here. So, yeah, we'll give you a few minutes and we'll be back.